We live in an age where we're bombarded by constant mental stimulation, whether it be from essentially limitless content put out every single day, to having a computer that has access to the entire world's information in our pocket, to wireless headphones where we could just plug in and no matter what we're doing, we could have some kind of information blasting into our brains. But this has deprived us of a very important factor that for generations we've had access to it. But today, we're not able to utilize the information, actually process what we're learning, and expand and have new ideas about what we just took in. But this has deprived us of a very important factor when it comes to things like remembering what we learned, implementing it into our life, and even expanding on these thoughts. And that factor is silence. Now, silence allows us to process the information because we get to be alone with our thoughts. We get to think about them over and over again in different ways, play with different scenarios, combine new ideas with old ideas that we've had in the past, and just take that information you've gathered and reinvent it in a way that could be beneficial for anyone, whether it's being creative, solving a problem, or just anything in your daily life. Even Albert Einstein used this principle of silence when he worked in a publication house. He had this job where all he would do was put together lines of text in order to print out books because there was no computers that automatically do it for us. So it was just a task that allowed him to let his mind wander while he just had this meaningless job that he was able to just do without actually thinking about it. And while working at this publication house, it allowed him to process his thoughts about what he was thinking about, what experiments he was doing, the math problems he was trying to solve, and he was able to play with them in new ways while not actually having to think about the work he's doing in front of him, allowing his mind to wander and play with the ideas that he was thinking about. And during this time that he was working the publication house, he even came up with a little thing called the theory of relativity. Basically, Albert Einstein's magnum opus, the biggest piece of scientific literature that came out of his mind and the entire world constantly reinvented and new ideas came all from him being in silence. Now, granted, it was probably a lot easier for him to thrive in silence because he didn't have things like YouTube, podcasts, or even music that wasn't on demand instantly. Even on a CD, he had to listen to records who I'm not even sure how advanced records were back in his day. But we have access to information at an unbelievable rate. We could be listening to someone talk about ideas for hours and hours and hours, and that could be detrimental to us, not only for our own ability to process new ideas and come up with new concepts, but to think about what do we think. When you listen to a podcast and hear someone talk about their opinion for hours at a time, and you can listen to their podcast day after day after day, constantly hearing what they have to say about a certain act, it can get difficult to think about what is your opinion on a topic. By taking time after you learned a new idea, principle, way of thinking, it's a good idea to actually practice that in your head. Think about what this thought means to me. How does it affect my life? What do I think about it? How does it play into my life normally? When we don't have that, we're basically not coming up with our own thoughts and opinions. We're just letting other people think for us, so we don't have to think at all. We're literally outsourcing thinking to someone else, and we're just taking in what their output is. That's not allowing you to come up with your own ideas and who you really are. And there's also a reason why you always hear about the greatest minds come up with their ideas in the shower when they're not even thinking about it, or they come out of nowhere when they're going on a late night drive. It's because it allows themselves to not think about something. It's because it allows them to process the thoughts they've been thinking about and not just be bombarded with another podcast, another YouTube video, another song that could have something new to stimulate your mind. Nowadays, it's kind of hard not to just open up your phone and look for some constant dopamine hits, whether it be from TikTok or YouTube. You can just stand in line and watch a quick video and not allow yourself to think about, why am I here? Do I need this? What did I do earlier today? How can I solve this problem for work? And I've been really trying to practice just being in silence and on my own with my own thoughts more often now, because I've seen how detrimental it is. I'm just looking for another YouTube video to play that's gonna just feed my mind information, and yeah, it might seem like it's a good idea because you're learning nonstop, but you're not fully learning. You're just taking in information and feeling like you're learning. When you're in silence, you allow these ideas to play in your mind. You get to think about them from new perspectives. You have old ideas that'll pop up out of nowhere, and maybe you'll combine that idea with another idea. And it might not even seem related at first, but it could come to a brilliant new conclusion for your own thoughts. In fact, the idea for this video actually came out of me just sitting in silence on a long drive home and realizing, wait a minute, this is when I come up with my best ideas. Why is that? And it's because I'm just mindlessly doing something and allowing my brain to just think about the thoughts that have been going on in my head. So I want to give you guys a few actions you could take when you're trying to solve a new problem, or you just learned something new and you want to process information more deeply. First one is take a shower. Now, most of the time I'll listen to a podcast or listen to music when I'm in the shower, but sometimes I won't put anything on. I'll just go in the shower, be alone with my thoughts, allow myself to decompress, but at the same time, thoughts are going to come up, and with that, I can bounce them around. I can think about them, and who knows, they might come up and I might even get a new idea for a video. Another is go for a walk without your phone. You're going to see sights all around you as you walk. You might see someone you know. You might just be alone and walk the entire way. Whatever it is, it'll allow your brain to just process thoughts while you're actually getting exercise at the same time. You could also clean up. I know a lot of the time I'll be cleaning my room and I'll see something and it reminds me of another thought. I'll start thinking about that thought, and who knows, maybe I'll actually find something that I could use for another video. Another one that's a little daunting is go to the gym without any music. Leave your AirPod at home, leave your phone at home, and just go to the gym and do a workout. I've yet to do this in I don't even know how many years, and I know it's a pretty daunting idea. I know a lot of people go to the gym for an hour, give or take, and being alone with your own thoughts for an hour, just you, the weights, and your thoughts, can be kind of intimidating and maybe be a little boring at first, but over time you're gonna learn to enjoy yourself and just be in the environment. And to finish this list of actions off, I'm gonna go with the thing that's come up with the most video ideas for me out of any of these, and that's going for a drive in silence or just listening to music. Having this just a mindless task where I'm just going in one direction, following my map, trying to figure out where to get to, allows my brain to just go all over the place, come with new ideas, and I've actually gotten the most ideas for videos by doing this. And one tip, if you are driving or doing something where you can't use your hands at the moment, but you have your phone right there, just say, I'm not gonna say because my phone's right here and it'll listen, but just say that and then say, take a note, and I'll write an idea down that's coming to your mind, and it allows you to keep that idea and put it down before you forget about it. Silence is a very powerful tool that we do not take enough advantage of. It used to be a lot easier back in the day, but with this constant information we're constantly being fed, it's hard to be alone with your own thoughts. Especially who wants to when you could choose to be on YouTube or TikTok and scroll for hours at mindless things that are a lot more entertaining than your own thoughts. But please take some of these actions and implement them in your own life, and maybe it'll help you in your work, in your creative hobbies, or whatever it might be. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. And I'll catch you in the next video.